Here and welcome back to another video on Supergirl season 5. Today we're going to be doing my review for episode 12. So a lot of stuff happened in this episode, also very much so leading into next episode, which is Supergirl's 100th episode. It's a massive episode and I can't wait to talk about that in tonight's video about the new trailer. But for now we're going to review this episode 12. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any DC TV videos later this year. Okay, so this episode, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I very much so was intrigued the whole episode, and I think it's mainly down to Winn. And I thought Kara was really good as well. You know, I was very much so intrigued with everything that was happening, bar a few storylines in this episode. So the main stuff really worked and I just was really engaged. And so you have Toyman, you have these two different versions. It's revealed they're alive in this episode, but they're inside like the DEO sort of like mainframe. I don't know what you call it, but you know, they're still kicking. And so that is the main sort of threat of the episode. I didn't expect Toyman to come back, but it was a sort of welcome comeback from last episode, obviously when Toyman was there. But also, you know, his dad was there, and that was really a nice addition that I wasn't expecting, and I thought it really worked. So basically later in the episode there's this attack on the DEO because Toyman, the bad version, the doppelganger of Winn, is inside. Lex knows about this. It was part of his plan to try and find out more about Leviathan, and you know, it's a bit complicated, but it all gets resolved towards the end of the episode. After that attack you have like Lexo suits being taken over, and this is all due to Toyman's virus. And so you have Winn fighting Toyman inside the computer system. So he uses some Legion tech. Winn goes in. He actually has like a fist fight. He's flying around because, you know, gravity is not a thing inside there because they're inside a computer essentially. And so that was a good scene. Winn versus Toyman. Also his dad's there. He trusts his dad. And in the end, his dad saves him because he's realized that yeah, maybe he hasn't changed that much since he's been inside here, but you know, he saw what Winn has done, and you know, he supports him basically. And so I thought that was kind of touching and kind of nice. And yeah, so I just thought Winn was really good. He gave some really good advice to Kara this episode as well. Had some nice talking scenes, and basically it was just like great Winn content. Obviously we've only got one episode left with Winn, which is very sad, but I have to say I'm very pleased with what they've done with him. But anyway, let's move on. So we have the karaoke scene in the bar early in the episode. This sort of leads on to what happens with Kara and William towards the end. And a lot of the conflict with Kara and William comes from the fact that she has to lie. And you know, that actually goes into next episode. And that's been a big theme like throughout Supergirl's whole run. Because on the CW shows, they hate lying, and lying's like such a massive thing. Obviously in real life it's a thing, but it's nowhere near as big as they make it out to be. Like, it's the worst thing if you have ever lied to someone. Like, if you say no lies, you're a good person. If you say lies, you're a bad person. That's just not the way of the world. However, you know, this is part of the reason of the story why they can't go on this date that they try and do. And so this karaoke scene's very good. And yeah, I don't dig William with Kara, I just don't see it happening, and I don't kind of want it to happen. But obviously I'm open to it if, you know, it's good in the end. But right now I'm not digging it, so I'm not mad about how they went around it this episode because it kind of made sense with the storyline. However, you know, I really like the karaoke scene. William and Kara, they go and they have this singing scene, and the song, you know, the whole thing was really good. Kara was great. Obviously Melissa's a singer, so obviously she hits those high notes and stuff like that, even though it's sort of like a jokey situation. It's just karaoke, but it was great content and I really enjoyed it. And seeing like Alex's reaction, John's reaction, Winn's reaction, it was just the best. Like, seeing our whole team there, including Winn, John, Alex and Kara, it was just the best seeing them all around, and it really brings you back to those past seasons where you had those amazing moments that I guess we kind of took for granted really in the past, and now you realize, oh shit, they were that good together, and you sort of more are aware of how good they are together now. And so yeah, that karaoke scene was really good, and we have Winn revealing his name. He is known as Computer Lad in the future, which is a not very good name if you ask me, and Winn agrees with me by the end of the episode, and he changes his name to Toyman. I thought that was very fitting. However, it doesn't really make sense as to why he would call himself Toyman, because he's not using these toys or anything like that. He's more of like a computer type guy. That's why he was called Computer Lad. So yes, his name doesn't make sense, but it's very fitting. And maybe he does end up using like toys and technology like that in the future as part of, you know, who his superhero persona is now that he's changed his name to Toyman, his superhero name. So yeah, that was cool. And I have to include some negatives, and I think this is some negatives since, like, I don't know, like a while ago. So the stuff with Obsidian is kind of dragging on. You know, there's no answer. They just keep on trying to fill it up for bits in the episodes. Like every week we're like, oh, what's happening with Obsidian? No one really actually cares. I'm talking about the audience. But they're like, oh, we're developing this new technology, but we can't quite perfect it. This happens every single week. Nothing is happening with that storyline, and nothing is happening with Lena's storyline. Yeah, they're making little advancements, but Nonna Cherry, or whatever the frick it is, I don't even know what it is. It's just like a project that she's been working on since literally episode 1 of this season is going nowhere. It literally goes nowhere. What is happening with Lena right now is just them trying to include her in the episode. That is basically it, and that's the same with Akrata and what's happening at Obsidian, because there is no progression in any of those stories, and as of right now it's just used for filler essentially. And Nonna Cherry is stupid because, you know, people have found out about it now, everyone knows, but she's still trying to do it in secret, and I just don't see the point in her trying to carry on doing this when everyone knows about it, and basically she just keeps on failing. So I don't see the actual point in that storyline. I don't know if that's just me, but let me know in the comments down below. Do you think they're dragging on this Lena and Obsidian storyline for the sake of it? Because it feels like nothing. Like Lena's had nothing to do apart from, you know, her relationship with Kara. That's probably the bigger thing, and the other storyline is kind of like a nothing storyline that you will forget, and you do forget week to week. You're like, oh, this scene again, oh, this is gonna happen again, whatever. But yeah, so that's the only negative towards this episode, because I really like this episode. Also, the old Leviathan lady comes back, she's returned, and I'm guessing she's going to be in part of the season a bit more. I think Leviathan's going to come to the sort of forefront a bit more towards the end, even though we've been, you know, with Leviathan since, like, I don't know, midway through the first part of the season, and now it's episode 12. I think they've got 22 episodes this season, I could be wrong, so they've still got a while. They still got like 10 episodes or so. However, I think they need to make some progression, because as of right now, it's kind of villain of the weeks. Apart from this week and last week, it was really interesting with Toyman. Apart from that, nothing more is going to happen. Obviously, next episode's different as well, because it's the 100th episode, it's Mixie, it's characters returning from the past, they're going to be sort of reflecting on the past, so it's not going to be about Leviathan, and that's good. But I mean, past that, we need some more Leviathan stuff. We need them as actual villains and actual threats rather than just being in the background. And so also towards the end of the episode, it's revealed that Alex is leaving the DEO as the director, and that's due to the fact that Lex is sort of looking over everyone's shoulder. You know, there's these precautions, they got Lexo suits and stuff, and everything's going wrong under the guise of Lex, and she just can't do it anymore. So she's joining John at the tower, and they're going to be sort of operating out of there, and that's going to be our sort of new DEO. We've seen from set photos, spoiler alert, click off right now. Okay, so the DEO gets destroyed in a few episodes time, and that's going to be, I guess, due to the fact that Lex is there. You know, our heroes have already left there, so maybe that gives it a reason to be destroyed, because it doesn't really matter as much anymore. It only matters in terms of Lex and Brainy right now. So Brainy's the new director of the DEO, Director Docs, and so that wasn't a big revelation. I sort of suspected that would happen after Alex leaves, because Brainy's very much so involved with Lex right now. He's still continuing down that storyline. They're both manipulating everyone once again, and Brainy obviously isn't compliant with everything, but he's just going along with it. And so Winn actually leaves, but he's back next episode, so I guess he goes back to the future, and then he brings back Mon-El with him, because Mon-El is coming back. You guys seen the photos, go check out my video from yesterday. I was freaking the fuck out, and I just can't wait. I'm going to be talking about Mon-El in today's trailer video, so please be sure to not miss that later tonight, because that is coming out later tonight. And yeah, so I guess that's how Winn and Mon-El both show up next episode. And now let's move on to talk about Kara and William. So they're sort of supposed to go on this date. They're all dressed up. You see Kara in like heels, like a dress. William's got the suit on. They're looking very, very smart. It's like a very smart kind of date, like not just like going to the cinema or something like that. So it's like a proper dinner thing, I guess. And so they're about to go, and then Kara postpones their date, and she just doesn't feel that way about him. And I think that's a lie. I think she does have feelings. That's what I got hinted at this episode. However, it was due to the fact that she had to lie, and she was sort of playing along with this lie, that she felt bad. And you have that talk with Kara and Alex towards the end of the episode about her having to lie, and that's essentially why they cut off that date. So I think there is definitely still a chance that William and Kara are still a thing. They're going to be a thing probably, or at least they're going to try and, you know, be a thing, I guess, sometime in the near future. But maybe Mon-El is going to put a spanner in the works next episode when he returns. Obviously, Mon-El is only going to be around for one episode, and William's going to be around a lot more, so I still think there is a very high chance. I don't think like Kara's going to get back with Mon-El, although of course I would love that, because you know they're the best relationship on the whole of the CW and Supergirl. But that's not going to happen, and I've just kind of accepted that already. So yeah, towards the end of the episode we go to the final scene. After that Kara and Alex talk, there is a knock on the door, and who is there? It's only Mr. Mxyzptlk. He has come back. Obviously he's been recast, so at first you're like and they're like he doesn't look like Mixie, but then he reveals his name and they're like, oh shit. So yeah, Mon-El's coming back, Mixie's coming back. It's all happening in this one episode, next episode. So please be sure to stick around tonight for my